last but not least, we got some fan questions for this week. I didn't see these questions beforehand, so here we go. First one, shout out to Harshit Praka 16. Was this on Twitter?
Yep.
Okay, on Twitter. The question was best 5 or 5.5 mids. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna go first. I took Susek at the last second. He's priced at 5. I was looking through all the 5 and 5.5 options. I did not feel good about ASM, and I wanted Wilson, and I didn't want to double up on Newcastle. So I chose Wilson. And Susek had an awful run of fixtures to start the season, admittedly. Let me just read it out for you. He had Arsenal last week, Wolves this week, and the next 4 weeks are Leicester, Spurs, City, and Liverpool. So that's an absurd start to the season. Awful for Susek, but he's somebody that I'm planning on holding on to all year, and I really think he's the best 5 million option out there. Tazz, you have somebody better?
Somebody that kind of impressed me was I believe his name is pronounced Cleach from Leeds. He took the penalty for them in the Liverpool game in game week 1. And I think a 5.5. He looked like he was a attacking midfielder for Leeds, and he looks like he's on penalty duties. For 5.5, that kind of looks pretty solid pick for me.
Gash?
When he's back from his injury, I think Armstrong is one to watch out for. Yes. Southampton don't look too good defensively, but offensively, I think after a couple games they'll start firing again, and he's really one of the creative outlets in that team.
C4?
Just 4 names: ASM, Podence, Souček, and Armstrong.
Yeah, Podence looked good, right? He had the assist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looked good. There is still some question about whether he's nailed. Moving on to the next question. Is it worth removing Pepe for a hit? And this is from @WagFPL on Twitter. Is it worth removing Pepe for a hit? Tazz?
I mean, my question would be, why would you have Pepe in the first reason? But for a hit, I actually don't even know how much he's priced at. So let me see.
He got a price drop to 7.9.
So he's 7.9 now. Wow. Yeah, I mean, a hit. I feel like there's pretty good options cheap-wise that you can downgrade to and not take a hit, unless how badly your team is fucked at this point right now. But yeah, I think you can go down and then use those funds to upgrade somewhere elsewhere. I'm guessing you want to take a hit in order to upgrade somewhere else, or even upgrade with Pepe.
Yeah, I think it's worth taking a hit. I do expect Pepe to have a better season than last season, but I think it's going to be a really slow start. He didn't even play this first game week. So yeah, I think it's worth it, but just make sure you don't take too many hits. Gash?
I don't think it's worth taking a hit. I think the bigger priorities now are, focusing on the premiums and the players you're going to captain to get them into your team. I do think you deserve a hit to the head, though, for having Pepe in your team from the first game week.
That's a little harsh. C4?
I know before the season I said I don't want to take hits, but the more I think about this, I think she has to. You already have the price drop. So Arsenal, with the next upcoming fixtures, pretty unlikely that Pepe is going to go back up in price. So, you can't hold on to him. You don't want to waste a transfer on Pepe next week when you could be bringing in City or United assets. So, to me, I think you kind of have to do it. Otherwise, you're holding on for him for another 2-3 weeks, which could be a waste.
Right. My only thing to say to that is you're taking a 4-point hit, right? So let's say you don't expect Pepe to bring you any points in the next couple of game weeks. If you're taking that 4-point hit, you better be transferring in players that you're gonna keep for a couple of game weeks that are gonna make up for that 4-point hit back. If my suggestion is to just transfer them out and then make those transfers along the line, or even just suck it up and just take the points off this week, and then just make the 2 free transfers next week. I feel like you have to look at it from a point of are the players you're gonna bring in for the 4-point hit, are they gonna make up those 4 points in the immediate? And if they are in the long term, you believe so, then yeah, just go take the hit.
Right. All right, last question. What would you do with Son? Change to Rashford, James, or hold? Wait. Let's let this question wrap around again. What would you do with Son? Would you change to Rashford? Would you change to James, or would you hold and suffer a price fall? This is from @Nick Triggerlips on Twitter. Thanks for the question, Nick. Tazz?
Well, I currently own Son. I briefly mentioned in the beginning of this episode. I don't think he played that bad against Spurs. I think Spurs were, kind of poorly played against Everton, but at the same time, I believe, he has favorable fixtures coming up against, Southampton, Newcastle. My plan with him is to hold and then to either transfer him out for Rashford and bring him in, or disperse the funds elsewhere to upgrade places. So I don't think he's gonna suffer a price fall just yet. Maybe if he plays the next 2 game weeks, he'll go down. But yeah. Besides that, I would, me personally, I'm gonna hold him at least for 1 more game week and then see what I can do.
Gash?
To Nick Triggerlips, I would say the next name coming off of his trigger lips should be Marcus Rashford. I think he's a much better option than Son at this point, unless you are already loaded up with Man United assets. But otherwise, I'd consider switching to Rashford.
That's why you were smiling before it was your turn to speak. You had that.
I thought of it like 20 seconds earlier, and I was like, this is going to be so cool.
C4, what's your advice for Nick?
I would move on as quick as possible. I didn't realize, according to FPL statistics, like he's pretty close to a price drop. So yeah, move out quickly.
Yeah, I agree. Get rid of Son ASAP. I was not high on him going into this year. I'm not high on any Spurs asset.
Except for Dele Alli.
No.
Yeah.
could be my Arsenal bias, but yeah. If you can go to Rashford, I would go to Rashford. If you want to save a little bit and go to James, you could do that too. But definitely move on from Son.